Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa Mitrokin, the creator of It's Easy to Draw Art Academy. Today, I will show you a quick and easy way to start learning how to draw cats. This lesson may be short and sweet, but it is life-changing. And guess what? The entire course on how to draw cats is full of these. Let's dive in, shall we? First things first, you'll need a guide page. When you are enrolled in a course in the Academy, all the printable pages are provided. Since this is a gift lesson, I've set up a whole new section in the Academy called Pages and Guides. The Academy is very friendly to navigate. Simply go right here to Pages and Guides, or up here to Pages and Guides. Once there, you will see a bunch of free downloads, and each of them comes with a video tutorial, such as this one that you're viewing right now. This section will grow and change as I add more material to it, so don't be alarmed if it looks a little bit different when you come to visit. The cat's drawing guide will still be here. Click on it, grab your free download, and you're all set. On the mugshot look, very much like working with a human face, we'll start with a circle. You may remember this practice page from another course of mine called The Easy Way to Draw Faces. If you've gone through that course, you've done a very similar exercise with human faces. Notice though, comparing that chart to this one, that the cat face is much more round than the human face. The human face was elongated vertically. The cat face is so round, it's actually a little bit squished. It's not even a perfect circle. It's an oval that's horizontal, a very, very squished, very, very round face. Sometimes it can be perfectly circular, but in most cases, it will look like this. As always, we establish a center line. This is where the eyes will go. Because this is a frontal mugshot look, we also need a vertical center line. Having done that, we place the eyes. Always place the eyeballs, not the cutouts of the eyes. It's going to be extremely important for when the head turns in different directions. So we place our eyes more or less here. Take a mental image of where that is on the cat face. Notice how different it is from a human face. There's a lot more distance to the sides of the eyes. The head is much poofier. We have fur to deal with here. So this is where the eyes go, and we draw them as circles. The next markings that I like to make on my cats is the cheeks, and those are going to be our identical circles or ovals. Again, a little bit horizontal squish happening here. So these circles or ovals for the cheeks that go roughly here. Again, make a mental note of the size difference. We don't want these to be too big. We don't want them to be too small. Obviously, we want them to be quite a bit bigger than the eyes themselves. Then I like to place the chin, and that's going to be yet another oval, quite a bit smaller than the cheeks, but still a little bit larger than the eyes. And then I like to place the directions of the ears, and that will look something like this. And once we have our guides, we can start shaping. Let's use a different color for this. We can shape the ears, make it look something like this. And then we can shape the rest of the outline of the head, and that will look something like this. Now we can come in with the eyelids. Notice that the cat's eyes are very heavily slanted. That's literally what we know as the cat eye. And we can add the nose as a little triangle and a little dot mouth. And that, in a nutshell, is the cat face looking forward. Before we move on to other cat head positions, let's take a closer look at the cat skull. As we already saw in the previous video, the cat skull is quite different from the human skull. It's very elongated and quite flat. So this is what an actual cat skull looks like in real life in various positions. On the top here, we have somewhat of a 3/4 view and two frontal views, one looking straight at the snout and one looking a little bit at the forehead. But it's the ones on the bottom that I'm more interested in. These are our profile views. Notice just how long and flat these skulls are. This is very different from a human skull, and it's extremely important for our other head tilts. Back to our demo, back to our guided page. And with a colored pencil, let's take a look at some basic geometry. So if I were to sketch the perfect profile of a cat, I would start with an oval. Notice how elongated that oval is. It's no longer a circle like the front-facing cat. It's completely different, very long. And now we know why. Having seen that skull, it has to be very long and very oval. Now I'm going to place my vertical and my horizontal guidelines. They're barely vertical and horizontal anymore. They are only vertical and horizontal in relation to the cat, and they will look something like this. And once they're placed, I'm going to draw in that eyeball. The eyeball is the same in any drawing from any angle because it's a ball. It doesn't change from any direction. It's important to draw in the entire eyeball and not get distracted by the beautiful shape of the cat eye. Then I'm going to do my ear guides, then the cheeks and the chin. And that's it. That's all of the blue geometry that we do. Now I'm going to come in with my orange pencil to stay consistent with my colors. And this is where we're going to shape the rest of this cat. Now we can come in with the actual shape of the eye. Notice how little of the eyeball is actually seen through the opening, through the fur, through the eyelids. We're only seeing a small slice of that eyeball, but it was important to draw the whole thing. And now I can start shaping the rest of this cat the way that I know cats look in profile. Do you need to know this from your imagination? Do you need to be able to draw cats like this freehand just from your head? No, you don't. And no one does. Every time we draw something as complicated as a living creature, we're always using reference photography. So yes, I am making my own guides freehand, but I'm always looking at a reference image of a cat to know exactly what the shape of that eyebrow is, what the shape of that ear is. So for now, follow along with me and use my guides. But in the future, when you're out there on your own in the wild drawing cats, always use a reference image. Dealing with this cat looking down, it's the same thing. We're drawing an oval shape for the skull. Now it's kind of in between. It's neither perfectly round like the frontal view, nor is it perfectly cucumber shaped like the profile view. It's kind of in the middle. And our horizontal and vertical center lines are also a little bit in the middle there. They're not perfectly horizontal, they're not perfectly vertical, but they're not as distorted as that profile view was. They're a little bit easier to read. This is a very common angle. This is kind of a 3/4 view, and we see it very often in both people and animals. Again, marking up the eyeballs may seem a little weird, but we have to do it. We will only get that curvy shape of the eyeball exactly right if we mark up, if we sketch up the eyeball itself completely and precisely where it needs to be with our first sketching pencil. And now we're just going to work in all of those details. Pay attention to where things go. Pay attention to the distortions in proportion that are happening here. You can't possibly learn theoretically every single angle of every single cat. So it's important to follow these guides so that you start getting that muscle memory for these moves. These guided sketches are the most important exercises in the whole course. Don't skip them. Follow my lines and add your own variation to these cats. But don't just trace the outlines, actually put in those lines, that circle, that oval of the skull, the vertical center line, the horizontal center line, the center lines of the ears, those poofy cheeks, the eyeballs, and the nose. And then come in with your other color, whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be orange. It can be green or brown or purple. It doesn't matter. As long as it's a little bit easier to see and that it's different so that you don't get confused with what goes where. So practice these with 2 colors, your first color for the lighter sketch and your second color for the building stage, for the shaping of our character. And of course, you have the other side to practice with as well. Remember, this is just one of many lessons from how to draw cats. If you enjoyed this little tutorial, please consider taking the full course. In this course, we'll do a lot of freehand sketching. I will show you how to use different tools to sketch. We will study cat movement and basic cat anatomy. Of course, we'll do facial structures. We'll compare house cats to wild cats so that you understand how that geometry changes the cat. And of course, we'll do a lot of drawing and coloring using my templates that I've created just for this course. All courses in the Academy are available for a one-time purchase, as well as payment plans. Once you join a course, there's no time limit. The content is yours forever. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in class.